The trailer for the brand new game Blood Message completely blew me away with some of the best visuals of this generation. Just look at how masterfully crafted the lighting and shadows are here in these shots. Just stunning. One thing that can be said about this generation is that there really haven't been too many games that would visually blow you away. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of gorgeous games, but a lot of them still look in the range of a PlayStation 4 title and haven't really surpassed the upper limits of what last generation could do. But Blood Message absolutely goes above and beyond and creates a game with stunning visuals, what currently looks to be fun action-adventure combat, and an exploration of Chinese culture and Eastern aesthetics that have me absolutely ecstatic. And a massive shout out to 24 Entertainment for sponsoring this video and giving me a chance to talk about this game, as ever since the trailer debuted, it has quickly become one of my most anticipated games. Blood Message is a single-player action-adventure game, developed by NetEase Thunderfire's 24 Entertainment Lin On Studio, marking both the studio's debut title and the company's bold entry into the single-player gaming space after 2 decades in the industry, and it's coming to PC and consoles. For those who tire of the saturation of open-world games, you'll be pleasantly surprised to find out that this is a linear, narrative-driven experience. Personally, this is my strong preference for games, as I play games for a compelling narrative, something that I feel that a big open-world game with tons of things to do distracts from, and absolutely ruins the urgency. So knowing that this is going to focus on the core reasons that I play video games in the first place has me all the more interested in Blood Message. The setting of Blood Message is also one that feels fresh for the current gaming landscape. I think we've all played games that have been set in places like feudal Japan, and I don't think I would even be capable of tolerating yet another medieval fantasy game right now. There are so many of the same settings used on a loop that it's become absolutely tiresome. But how many of you can say you've played a AAA video game that takes place in the Tang Dynasty, when Wukong began his journey to the west? I can personally say that I, at least, haven't. It takes place in the Hexi Corridor during the late Tang Dynasty, a region that once served as a critical artery of the Silk Road. This area was not only a strategic military route, but also a cultural crossroads, filled with ancient fortresses, Buddhist relics, and desert landscapes. There was plenty of trade, plenty of art, and also plenty of conflict. Choosing a setting so rich with historical context is really interesting, because on one hand, we as players are going to learn a lot, but it also grounds the game in something meaningful. This is a time and a place that is so rarely explored by gaming, set in 848 AD. During the dynasty's decline, the story draws from the real-life Dunhuang uprising and presents a deeply personal tale set against the backdrop of imperial collapse. It is incredibly exciting to see a game using ancient Chinese history in this way. Players take on the role of a nameless messenger and his son, caught in the chaos of rebellion and faced with an impossible task: deliver a message that could decide the fate of their homeland. This is a journey that spans over 3,000 li of hostile terrain, filled with brutal sieges and the unforgiving wilderness of East and Central Asia, all in a desperate push toward Chang'an, the Tang Empire's political heart. The characters are going to be pushed to the limit in a world unraveling around them while being torn between loyalty to their family and duty to their country. And I think what fascinates me the most about Blood Message is that while most stories of this era are very focused on emperors and generals and very high-ranking people that it's hard for you or I to relate to on an intuitive level, Blood Message is choosing to be distinctively different in this regard. It chooses to spotlight the forgotten, unsung heroes swept up in the tides of history, something that I foresee making this game a much more relatable experience for its players. There's also a strong focus on the relationship here between father and son, a classic motif that always hits me like a truck and feels deeply sentimental. In Blood Message, their bond is central to the entire journey, as the father carries the burden of both protecting his child and delivering a message that could change the fate of their homeland. We already see him being extremely protective of him in this trailer, pursuing him to stop his reckless mission to join join the Shazo uprising. Though I think I've already found my favorite character in the entire game. Seriously, her design is absolutely beautiful, and I am already captivated by her. She seems to join the protagonist on a quest as a helpful NPC, navigating through caves and saving him from immediate danger. Given her differing attire and leading the navigation through the temples, I feel as though her connection to the gods is something that this trailer hints at, and will make a valuable ally for us in the game. But in either case, I am already in love with her. The combat in this game already looks really good. What impresses me so far is just how great these animations are, as well as the accompanying camera work. Even during intense action scenes, it manages to keep cinematic angles that capture the weight of combat. This is said to be an action-adventure, so no, it's not a Souls-like, but it's also not quite a hack and slash like you might find with Devil May Cry or Bayonetta. If I had to compare it to anything existing, I would say it most reminds me of Ghost of Tsushima or God of War 2018, which are two games that have combat systems that I really love and makes me all the more excited for this game. One thing you'll notice here, and something that really blew me away, is how sand particles fly through the air during combat. This, combined with the way the sand on the ground deforms to show footsteps, creates an impressively accurate simulation of a skirmish in the desert. Going back to earlier in the trailer, we can see that stealth kills are also going to be a mechanic in this game, both by sneaking up on enemies from behind, as well as leaping down on them from above. It makes me wonder what level of focus this game will have on stealth gameplay, but I'm willing to bet that it's a lot. There's a lot more to do than just fighting. We can see the protagonist here pushing and turning some sort of switch that activates a device. This may indicate some sort of puzzle-solving element that might be present to break up the monotony of combat. The camera then cuts to this scene above, where the ceiling begins to crumble and fall apart. It's at this point I want to highlight just how well crafted the set pieces seem so far, many of which feature highly destructible environments, and they look and feel absolutely remarkable. Another thing I want to mention is just how diverse the environments in this game are. I love a game where I can truly feel like I'm on a grand adventure, and in order to accomplish this, you need to feel like you're actually going places. From the gorgeous imperial cities of the late Tang Dynasty to the desert sands, snowy peaks, and inside the temples dedicated to the Buddhas. To put it simply, I am absolutely captivated by this game so far. Blood Message delivers visuals that are top-notch for the generation. The lighting, the environment detail, character models, animations all look incredibly lifelike and immersive. Everything appears to be running in-engine, which makes this level of visual fidelity even more impressive. The scale of environments is massive, from sprawling deserts filled with blowing sands to crumbling cities and intense battle sequences. Set pieces are dynamic, cinematic, filled with tension and spectacle. Blood Message is one of the rare moments where it's hard for me to believe that this is a game from this generation and not the next. Blood Message feels like what I expected games of this generation to really be striving for, and some games get there, but not nearly as many as we would have liked. But Blood Message is currently on the toppest tier in terms of pretty much everything that we've seen so far. I'm also just really excited to get a brand new action adventure game because I feel like we're due for one of this quality. The attention to detail and presentation might make this one of the most visually and emotionally striking games of this generation. At least, that's what I'm hoping for. But if you want to know more about Blood Message, you can visit the official site for more information with a link in the description and pinned comment below. And leave me a comment letting me know what you think about Blood Message. And I'll see you all in the next video.